Greetings, dear visitors. It's a Wednesday noon over here in Las Vegas, sunny Las Vegas. Hello, Stargirl, I see you. Hello, Nikki. Hello, Stargirl again. Hello, Olson. Hello, Marilyn. Yay. Thank you for dropping in. Yes, Stargirl, please describe what you have seen. Just make a short, quick description on there. It's very hard to type a whole story. I understand that, but it's freakish. Please let us know. I'm very curious. So, hello, Robin. Greetings. Just saying hi. Greetings, everybody. This is Terra Lumination. It's a Wednesday here in Las Vegas. It's actually a little bit cooler today. It's still very, very hot. I'm fully recovered now from heat stroke last week. So we're moving on. We're just going to move on. As you know, I've become kind of fixated on this whole thing of global restructuring 2020, because even though I wrote about it years ago, to actually see it all coming into fulfillment on the big screen is just shocking. It's even more shocking than I could have ever imagined. So I, like you guys, I am a witness to all this stuff. I feel very, very fortunate to be alive at this time in human history, because this is monumental on a scale unprecedented. We've had, as we know, we've had the Roman Empire, we had the Egyptian Empire, we had the Greek Empire, okay? We had the Austro-Hungarian Empire, we had the British Empire, we had the Mongolian Empire, we had the Indian Empire, okay? And today, effectively, we have the American Empire, but that is now facing off with the Chinese Empire, and it's all freakishly scary. Yeah, fill us in, Star. If it's what I'm thinking of, there's something, a clip just came out today where a policeman, an Australian police woman, was assaulted and beaten down to the ground and her head crushed into concrete by another woman. The police officer had stopped the woman to say, listen, you need to put on your mask. And the woman was not wearing a mask. So the woman assaulted the police officer, smashed her in the head, threw her to the ground, pummeled her. That was one of the things that happened in Australia. The other thing was that, just the other day, a truck driver was pulled over by the Australian police and forced, to do these tests and things. He refused to do it, so he went home. And then the Australian cops came after him and entered his house. We think we have problems here, yeah. Don't worry about it. If it's just try it. If there's a link or something, maybe you have to understand. Here's another thing. I don't know if you know this, but dear Love Triber informed me yesterday of all the scary things that are happening inside and outside of Facebook. I actually have a Facebook channel, but I really don't do anything with it because I find it very strange and I've never understood it. I don't know if I ever will. But Love Triber is very alert with all this global media stuff and all the scary things that are happening all over the world. And what Love Triber noticed was over the weekend, like today is Wednesday, but last Saturday and Sunday, the week before is when I was sick, but last Saturday and Sunday, there were massive protests all over here, all over Western Europe, Germany, and so on, and a few other places, okay, over here. Hundreds of thousands, literally hundreds of thousands, huge protests, peaceful protests, with lots of people basically without masks, okay? I love you too, Zeppelin. I don't know what I'm saying. And so, Love Triber found all this stuff on her Facebook feed with all her Facebook friends around the world. They send feeds to each other. And it was very interesting to hear the story as it was unfolding, as Love Triber was relating the story to me. And so she found this very, very shocking. Like, hey, TL, have you seen this? Are you aware about all these protests all over here? Hundreds of thousands of people basically saying it's a scamdemic. There's no freaking virus, or if there is a virus, we don't freaking care anymore. We want to get on with our lives. Screw the government. Screw all you freaking government leaders who are telling us, trying to control our lives. We're free people. This is a free market economy over here. We're not living in China, okay? And so what happened is, I think within about 36 hours, all of those video feeds were shut down. Everything was shut down. And so Love Triber was checking in with her friends, like, hey, what's happened? What happened? What happened? Where's all the news? Why isn't it being broadcast over, BBC News, Fox News, ABC, CBN, CNN? Why isn't it being broadcast everywhere? These are huge global events. It never happened. It never happened because Facebook said so. Facebook doesn't want the American people to know that there's the possibility of another viewpoint over here where you can actually have fun and have a life. You don't have to listen to what the oligarchs are telling you to do. So basically, Facebook shut it all down. They censored all of it. They blocked it like it never happened. They deleted it. They shut down. Even some of Love Triber's own materials have been shut down and blocked by Facebook. So there you go. Yeah, it's crazy, Stargirl. It's truly crazy. And we've only just begun. January 2020 is when the bomb dropped, okay? As you know, I wrote my amazing world-famous book, Wealth, Money, Finance, as used by presidents and stock market leaders all across the world, bankers, institutions, central bankers, everybody in the crypto world knows about this. So, yeah, it's been kind of weird. So basically Google and Facebook, bless their dear hearts, because they keep everybody connected. In the meantime, they're fishing into your privacy and taking stuff and selling it. But people don't care because it's so much fun to connect and be sociable. Anyway, so I thought it was very disturbing. I believe in free market capitalism. But I also believe that there are very, very healthy things that you can do through things that would be called socialism. There is a way to do these things, but one tends to cancel the other out. So I don't have any solutions. I'm not a politician. I'm not really taking sides. Well, I am taking sides, but it kind of doesn't matter. But I'm taking sides anyway. So. Path Traveler's here, Path Traveler, and Path Traveler is saying no, they don't want us to see what the plan was or is for here in America. As you know, well, actually, I should probably do an astrodoodle at this point. World famous astrodoodle coming up. Hold on to your pants, people. Seriously, So I'll just make a really quick astrodoodle here to illustrate. It's very similar to things we've been seeing recently because some of the patterns that we're dealing with are, they're not just fleeting patterns over the next day or so. These are longer term patterns. So I'm just going to fill it all out really quickly. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. You've seen this before, so just bear with me, okay? Leo, Virgo, Libra over here, Scorpio, Sagittarius, greetings. Yes, Stargirl, you got it right. I'm going to eventually get to that in a minute, yeah. You figured it out. Wow, there's no more surprises on Tarot Illumination, folks. Everybody knows what's going on. I hope you do know what's going on. I hope you understand what's going on because it's mind-boggling in terms of history, human history, evolution, growth, adaptation. a whole new world, global reset, all of that stuff. Aries, Mars, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, the scales, Scorpio, sex, death, and taxes, Capricorn, business, Aquarius, the water bearer. Someone has to do it. Someone has to bring light to humanity. And dear Pisces, the sponge of all pain. So we've got Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter up here. Okay, we know that. Okay, that's a fixture, and it's been there for a while. I think the moon is over here. Let me just double check something for you, everybody. I just want to check, make sure I got some placements correct here. Oh my gosh, yeah, I thought so. So we got Moon conjunct Neptune right now. Okay, Moon is conjunct Neptune. So if you're feeling very spaced out, very dreamy, perhaps confused, lost, almost like delirious, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Like, what the bleep is going on here, people? There's a big sense of serenity going on Earth right now. I feel it's like, personally, my feeling is that it's like delayed shock syndrome, where the bomb dropped January 2020, and here we are 8-9 months later, and we've gone through all the initial shock waves, and now the dust is starting to settle. And if you imagine like it's in kind of a war movie, everybody's wandering around like zombies in a state of shell shock. So that's what's happening at the moment, as I see it from the very broad perspective of humanity. And again, none of this surprises me. So let me just fill in some of this stuff. I'm going to put in some sweet spots right now. Here we go. I don't often put the green sweet stuff in, but it is nice. It's nice to have some green here and there. Nice stuff. This is very harmonious energy, very rich energy between the Virgo energy and the Capricorn energy and the Pisces energy. We got a little something here. We got a little something here. And so that's kind of nice. And we've got it's very hard to ignore this thing. I'm sorry. This thing is really hard to ignore. This is pain. This is pain. This is extreme pain for America. This is the axis of America. Okay, America is born with a Cancer sun and Pluto in Capricorn, Mercury in Cancer in opposition over here. And of course, this is sitting right on top of it. So there's deep pain happening in America right now as all of these energies are being exposed. And it's heavily pressured from Mars. Mars, the warrior planet, the action planet, the planet of getting done what has to be done, the planet of shoot first, ask questions later. That's all happening right now. So as I predicted months ago, this would translate inside of America as extreme violence, random, uncontrollable violence all across America. And guess what's happening? And it's still happening right now. It is vicious. It is vicious, okay? And we've still got months of this to go. Mars is going to be flipping retrograde very soon over here. Okay, Mars is going to go retrograde for the rest of September and the rest of October. So I guarantee we're going to have a lot of upheaval, chaos, insanity, increasing violence, and let's see, basically, it's just like what's happening, like thugs everywhere. Thugs just rampaging cities, police getting beaten up. There's a new thing. Hold on. Did you see that new thing? There's this thing in Chicago now where there's this big alliance of thugs, rioters, criminals, hardcore extremists. They've put out this big notice. We're going to go and attack the cops. It's a shoot to kill program where they go around in packs, and they go when they come across a cop, they shoot to kill, and they take videos of it. Okay? That's their plan. Imagine that is your day job. Imagine waking up in the morning and think, oh, I can't wait to go out today. We're going to go cop killing and then we're going to film it and put it up on social media. Oh, isn't this fun? Anyway. Yes, Stargirl, there is a bit of a stillness. I see it as shock. I see that stillness as shock. It's more like, that's how I see it. I'm going to go back to the chart for a moment. With this Mercury over here, we just had the full moon last night. I don't know if any of you saw it. It was very beautiful over here. Okay, so we got this Virgo in Mercury and Moon and Neptune in Pisces over here in hard opposition right now. So there's a very strong oppositions. And if you really want to extend the astrology, we've got a little bit of this. So there's a bit of a lull. Like Stargirl was saying, there's a bit of a lull. So this big green rectangle here represents a very harmonious, peaceful energy, especially with the earth signs. Have you noticed? Virgo and Capricorn and Taurus, okay? So now I'm going to do something very similar to what I did the other night. I think it was Sunday night. I'm going to highlight something else which is happening right now, which I believe is sort of, I'm stretching the astrology here, okay? Please bear with me. I'm stretching the astrology. But like I was showing, I think it was Sunday night, if you take the energy of Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo together, which are very, very strong right now, and you just think of it in terms of the signs, okay? Taurus is Earth, Virgo is Earth, Capricorn is Earth. It's very stabilizing. It's a very solid, steady kind of energy. So I gave myself the liberty to create a massive Earth triangle over here, okay, which looks sort of like this. So, Stargirl, you are right, I would say, in that despite this intense pressure here, this big triangle, that's the big T-square, okay? They call it a T-square. It's actually a T-triangle, but the reason they call it a T-square is because normally it's drawn like this, and what you see is the top of the T and the bar of the T. They call it a T-square because it's a very hard angle. This is a 90-degree angle here to here. So here to here. So they call it a T-square. So this is the T-square. It's one of the most stressful alignments in heaven. So that's happening right now, and we just came out of the full moon. Okay, so that full moons by definition are stressful. They bring out a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff is exposed. And I think what's happening in America and across the world, because this is for the whole world, we're seeing a lot of the sickness of the world, the self-defeating, self-destructive, self-annihilation that we have created for ourselves in humanity in the name of goodness. It's all lies, treachery, betrayals, deception, and how humanity is the world's #1 expert at fooling itself that everything's okay when it's not. We have opposing factions in Washington right now who are, they're completely on the they're coming from completely different directions. I think both sides want America to be amazing, but they have very different visions for what constitutes an amazing America. Some people, like myself, I like this version of America, okay? There are other people who want something else. So I'm going to go along to the title of this show today. Actually, the title is, I guess, Global Restructuring 2020, but if you look at the name of the video, it's called ChinAmerica, or for short, ChinAmerica, okay? So I was joking about that last night with Love Triber. I need to mention that on the show. I need to coin this new thing called ChinAmerica, because that's what's happening right now. There are huge numbers of people in America who want China to become who want China to become America. They want America to be like China, okay? And there's hundreds of millions of people in China who are trying to get out of China so that they can be like America. So there's this really weird thing happening right now between these so-called so-called superpowers. The reality is these two superpowers are astronomically in debt to each other. China is massively in debt to America for trillions. America is in debt to China for trillions. And if everybody tried to cash out their debt or pay down their debts, the whole of the global economy would implode overnight. Okay, so there's this massive optical illusion that's going on right now. Moon in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, opposed by Mercury in Pisces. Mercury in Pisces representing commerce, business communications, day-to-day banking, just day-to-day, like, moving money around, PayPal, Venmo, MoneyGram, and all that stuff. That thing is being exposed for all the wonders that it is and all the chaos that it is. Anyway, let me go back to my notes here, because now the show has started and we're underway. Greetings, everybody. Let me just check in with you all. Greetings. Hello, Nikki. Hello, Nikki. Hello, Cindy Turner. Wait a minute. I don't want to turn this into a political... You guys can vote whoever you want. I'm going to vote for whoever I want. And who else? What's that? Yeah. Anyway, so... let me go over a few things. Here's some things that I noticed. Some of this stuff is insanity. Some of this stuff is literally insanity that's happening in the world right now. Here's my little topic, number one, ChinAmerica. This is what I call the Chinification of America. It's happening right now. It's been happening for the last 20 years. More like, well, since 1970, but it's really the last 20 years where it really accelerated dramatically. And it's happening today in America because we allowed it. And it will continue to happen if we don't allow it. And so if we allow it, the Chinification of America will continue. America, the United States of America, as some of you know, the United States of America is deeply infiltrated by Chinese communist interests, spies, especially in the colleges and the universities. I'm sure you're aware of that. There are there are basically like Chinese folks at colleges who are being called out and kicked out and expelled and arrested, sent back to China. There are American college professors and university professors who are being caught with their pants down for taking bribes from China to sell out their country, the United States. And so they're being called out as well. I mean, there's some folks in some of these American universities, they're hardcore communists, and they're doing anything they can to turn America into China. It's the Chinification of America, and it's happening mostly in the colleges and the universities where they're indoctrinating American youth with the Confucius programs and things like that. Now they're going next level. They're sending crazy, bizarre, random invasive species in the form of seeds. There's a lot of what I consider food arson going on right now. I think there's a lot of criminality happening in the world's food market, especially in America. I don't know if you remember that thing over here. Where was it? Somewhere over there. Those big grain silos were exploded. It's hard not to think of that as a bomb, okay? Destroying the food chain over here for those poor people. And I don't know if you saw recently, a massive corn train got derailed on the way from Canada to America, okay? Billions of tons of corn destroyed and deemed as no longer useful for the food supply, so they're writing it off. Sugar silos over here in America to work with food industries, they were detonated and exploded in arson, okay? And it just goes on and on. There's crop failures all across America. A lot of farm workers are being told, you have to get tested for your virus. And the farm workers are saying, actually, no, we don't. Screw you. We're going away. And so they're walking away anywhere that the farm workers are being told by their local government that they have to get tested. the farm workers are walking away. So it's leaving the crops unpicked. And so the farm owners are having to let the crops rot in their fields. So there's more food upheaval, food instability. It's happening all over America. And I think a lot of it is deliberate. Yep. Yeah, I think it's deliberate. It's devastation. It's crippling. I'm going to really sound like I'm a conspiracy theorist now, but I believe there's a huge infiltration of China into America, and they're working inside America to destroy some of America's infrastructure. We already know that's happening. Okay, let me keep going. Here's another thing I noticed very recently. I think it was the day before yesterday. Google and Facebook, as you know, basically pretty much own and control the world in terms of social media. Okay? And I am part of this because I have a YouTube channel. And I actually have a Facebook page, but I don't really use it. My YouTube channel was censored and blocked and stripped out of a lot of its capabilities, but I keep going. So they allow me to keep going. But what I noticed is that somebody caught Google and Facebook red-handed. They were called out for laying undersea cables directly from the West Coast to China. Google and Facebook were trying to lay cables, massive internet cables, directly from America, right over here. That's where the cables enter the ocean. They go all across the ocean, all the way over to here, directly into China, okay? And these are called, what are they called? These landing ports, okay? It's a landing port. Basically, these cables are internet cables like this thick, and they lay tons of them on the ocean floor. They have these big ocean ships, you know when you can see the guys in your neighborhood who are laying cable to put internet in your neighborhood. Imagine they do it on a very big scale in the ocean with big ships. Hello, Heather from Canada. Hello, Folding Plane Trapezoid in Kansas. So Google and Facebook were caught laying cable direct from the West Coast directly into China. They were caught, okay? And the American government caught them. And so Google and Facebook immediately had to retract. And so they're pulling up their cable from here, but instead they're going to redirect it over to Taiwan. Okay, this is Taiwan, okay? Okay, Taiwan is a very, very free market capitalist country. They're very closely aligned with America. Taiwan is terrified of China. China is trying to take over Taiwan. So Taiwan is a very powerful ally, a very valuable ally for America over here, because as you know, China is starting to get extremely repugnant and rude in its behavior. It's getting extremely violent over here. The Mars and Aries energy is exacerbating Chinese behavior. China as a country, as the CCP, the Communist China Party, is born with a Libra sun. So Mars in the 7th house opposing the Chinese Libra sun is creating a lot of violence in their relationships. So basically everything is exactly as it should be. All the evil stuff that's coming out of China that's been brewing up for years is now starting to become evident across the whole world. The whole world is now becoming aware of the dichotomy between China and America. And at the same time, China really can't function without America, and America can't function without China. So it's a very, very sick situation that's happening right now. It's basically like a really ugly marriage where the spouses are starting to get really abusive towards each other because the glossy facade of their apparently wonderful, spectacular, dazzling relationship is being revealed to be a mask that covers an extremely ugly, abusive relationship. America, as the United States debt farm of America, takes advantage of the CCP, China Communist Party's slave camp of China, and China takes advantage of our free market economics and our liberal legal systems and our constitution. We can't do what they do. China can do whatever it wants because they have a communist leadership. So they do it. And they have a totally evil agenda basically to take over the world. It's the Chinification of the whole world. And the way they have to do it is they have to destroy the United States from within. So that's what they're trying to do right now, people. So please wake up. Next, let's keep going. Oh my gosh, this is the thing that Hey, Nikki, thank you. Thank you, Nikki. All right, so I'm going to do something now. I'm going to do something because I promised I would do it and I didn't do it and I forgot. But I'm going to see if I can do it from my phone. I'm going to read something. It's the 8 steps to taking over a country, to how to destroy a country and take over a country with a totalitarian regime. Okay? Basically what they did in Russia and what they did in China and what they tried to do in Belarus and Ukraine and Latvia, Estonia and Lithuania. And Poland. They tried to do it there, but these people resisted, okay? So let me see if I can do that. Thank you, Nikki. Okay, I have to get it off my phone here. Love Triber sent this to me, and I'm supposed to read it. And it's called the 8 Steps. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Oh gosh, where is it? I don't know, it might be this one. It might be this one. Oh, hold on, it might be... I've got a link here. I swear, people, I have a link. It's not that one. I should have prepped this all up, of course, as you know. Let me see if I've got it here. Yes, here it is. I believe this is it. So bear with me, please be patient, and I'll read it out to you. Okay. Okay, here it is. This is extracted from a book by this guy called Saul Alinsky, who was a radical socialist who was trying to teach people in schools and colleges in America, I think it was in the 60s, on how to take over America and turn the United States into a communist country. So number 1, it goes like this. Okay, so you have to bear with me. Number 1, okay, I'll just show this to you. I don't know if the focus will come up. Let me see if this will focus. Yeah, it's hard to see, but this is kind of all over the internet now. You can just Google this and it'll come up everywhere. So I'm not reading anything new. I'm not a genius or a scientist. I'm just passing on information that I found out, which I found very disturbing. As you've probably figured out by now, I'm the sort of person, I don't want to live under a communist regime. I don't want anybody to tell me what to do and how to live my life or what's best for me. I know what's best for me. I was born and raised in a free market capitalist country, and I like it that way. I'm very scared of communism, okay? I'm just letting you know. I'm very scared. Okay, here we go. How to Create a Socialist State. Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky. Number 1 step, healthcare. If you control healthcare, you control the people. Hold on, I've got the... it keeps going back. I don't know what's going on. There's buttons here that... okay. Healthcare. If you control healthcare, you control the people. Number 2, poverty. Increase the poverty level as high as possible. Poor people are easier to control and less likely to attack the source of their survival. For example, the federal government in America right now, they're planning to institute something called FedNow, which is their equivalent of the Chinese CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency. FedNow is no different from your American dollars. It's everything digitized through the Federal Reserve, so they see everything about your money. It's coming to America soon. And in that way, they're also considering adding UBI, which is Universal Basic Income. So basically, they're turning you into a pet. they're going to own you as a pet. So anybody earning less than about, $40,000, $60,000 a year, you're going to get UBI. So are you going to question UBI? You're probably just going to take the UBI and spend it. If you try to save it, it will be stopped because they're going to put a ticking clock on that money. So it's basically turning you into a slave, okay? So that's kind of step 2. Let me go to the next one. So healthcare. These are the things that you have to control healthcare. You have to control and create poverty. Number 3, create debt. Increase debt to unsustainable levels. This is what we're doing already. This will allow government to increase taxes, produce more poverty, and further control the people. That is exactly what the Federal Reserve is doing right now by destroying the American dollar. It's destroying the purchasing power of the American citizen, and it's helping the American exports. So it's all about lining the pockets of the rich at Wall Street. Okay, next, item 4, gun control. Remove the ability for citizens to defend themselves from their despotic or tyrannical governments, thus allowing for the creation of a police state, which is just what they have in China and Russia. Next, welfare. Take control of every aspect of their lives and their survival. That means food, housing, healthcare, and income. In other words, you turn the whole country into a massive socialist welfare state. In other words, it's the classic voice of a politician. Hey, vote for me, and I will save you. I will institute new taxes and new programs so that you can survive with less work and less thinking. Next, education. Control what people listen to. Control what children are being taught in school. Emphasize progressive ideals only, which is basically what's already happening in American schools. American schools today are very different from when I was a child. American schools today appear to me as little incubators where they indoctrinate you in hardcore radical socialist philosophies. They're not so concerned about reading, writing, arithmetic, careers, jobs. I mean, the whole idea of like being a bricklayer or a car mechanic or, an engineer or a designer or something like that, that's kind of like, no, we do something very elite, okay? So next one is religion. Remove the people's belief in God from government and schools. No ideology or authority can supersede the power of the state. Well, guess what's happening in China right now? China has issued a dictate for the whole of China that you are allowed to go to church now, to some selected churches that are approved by the Chinese government. However, you have to recite prayers. You will be monitored. When you go in there, you will be monitored by the social justice police. You will recite prayers that basically state that you worship the CCP on top of God and religion. Okay? And that's what they're doing. And if you do not succumb to their orders, then you will be tagged by the social justice police, and your social score will go down, and you will now be marked as a rebel. Remember, inside of China right now, they have over 360 million people who have signed a document and a national public agreement to quit the CCP. It's going to be very hard to quit the CCP. 360 million people sounds like a lot. And it is a lot of people. It's the whole population of America. But in China, that's nothing. Okay? So please remember that. Lastly, this is number 8. Let me see if I can find it again. Class warfare. Have you heard the expression divide and rule? You deliberately create hostility and confusion. You bait people to fight each other. It says here, divide, class and rule. Class warfare. Divide the people into warring factions, wealthy versus the poor, for example. Radical left versus radical right, for example. Racists, for example. This will foster further discontent animosity, and justify raising taxes which are necessary for the redistribution of income through social programs. It will also justify the need for a police state. Divide the people, deliberately stir up violence. Okay? So I think a lot of that stuff is happening already. Okay? Okay, so let's have a look. So I'm kind of going on a rant here, as you can tell. So global restructuring is not just the title of a video, it's a fact. These are things that are happening live in our lives right now. I feel very fortunate, very blessed to live in the United States and to be an American citizen, even though the infrastructure, the Constitution, and the Declaration of Independence are being crushed and pulverized as we speak, okay? It's not the end. America is not going down, I promise you. It's being restructured, and it's happening under pressure, okay? America would not restructure unless it was under pressure to do so. The reason it's under pressure to restructure is because America has allowed its own Constitution, its beautiful Constitution, its beautiful Declaration of Independence, it has allowed this thing to be perverted, undermined, basically abused and pulverized, betrayal, treachery, lies, and deception, to the point where what's happening is like a massive cancerous tumor that's spreading all across the world. It's actually from here, but they have infiltrated here. The tumor that exists over here has infiltrated here extremely successfully. So the way I look at it right now, the United States is a very, very sick population. It's radically infected by a radically toxic, nauseous and noxious cancerous type of tumor, which is destroying this thing that we have in America. A lot of people hate America because it's the easiest thing to do is to blame America for all your problems. I don't see it that way. There are a lot of people who hate America because the American government has weaponized the United States dollar. I don't know if you follow these financial things. I'm fascinated by it, and that's kind of why I wrote my book. But the value of the dollar in your wallet today, when I was a kid, the money that I had in my wallet was much more powerful, much more valuable than the equivalent number of dollars today. Why is that happening? It's because of continuous degradation of our currency. It all started with the Federal Reserve. I'm sure you've heard me rant about that before. And so now we're at a point where from 1913 and then 1933, 1945, 1971, then 2000, then 2008, and now then 2012, and then 2020, there were radical shifts and changes in the Federal Reserve behavior, and it affected the American economy, which in turn affected the rest of the world. And now we have as a system, basically it's debt. It's a massive debt machine. It's a debt farm. And what we do is we export our debt. And it's like America's basically like living off a fantasy credit card, and it's running out. And the bosses at the Federal Reserve don't know what to do anymore. And there's a lot of smart money people in America. They already know what's happening, and they're just riding the wave till the end of the wave. The United States stock market is exploding in prices. So it's heavily overpriced. So eventually it's going to go. The question is when. Okay? Let me go back to my notes here a second. Okay, so I mentioned my little thing about ChinAmerica, the Chinification of America, okay? I mentioned my thing about Google, Facebook. They got caught red-handed. As you know, Google and Facebook basically operate like the CCP in China. They are complete monopolies. They have complete control. Nobody can stop them or do whatever they want to do. So they just do whatever they want. And they love to be like China. They want to be like China because they have total command and control. And so they do a lot of censorship and a lot of manipulation of media. Okay, we already know that. I read to you the 8 steps, okay? I mentioned to you about the food crises, okay? Grain silos exploding. Sorry, I think it's arson. Grain silos exploding. Corn trains crashing. I don't think it's a crash. I think it was a staged crash. Fake food people, these globalists, are trying to destroy natural food distribution alliances, destroy the food chain, the delivery system, the distribution systems. And all of these people are blaming it on the virus. They're using the virus as an excuse to accelerate their evil agenda from these freaking globalists, okay? These globalists basically don't want you to eat real food. They want you to eat manufactured food according to their globalist agenda that works to create profits for these people. Anyway, I mentioned the food crises. It's happening live for you right now, okay? I didn't mention too much about this, but I'm kind of on there right now because I'm ranting about money. FedNow. Have any of you people heard of FedNow? Probably not. They haven't announced it yet. They were going to announce it at the big federal meetings last week, but they were too scared. It's too early. FedNow, okay, is what China is already trying to do in China with the Chinese CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency. CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency. China is already working on it. They've got their 5 biggest banks already set up, lined up to issue CBDC. So there won't be any paper yuans. There won't be any paper or metal coins anymore. As you know, in the United States, you've probably noticed it. If you go to your grocery store, your 7-Eleven, they're going to tell you, sorry, we don't have any change. You have to pay with a plastic card or you have to pay with exact money. And we can't give you coins. And there are bank branches and ATM branches that are being shut down all over Australia because they're already trying to turn Australia into China. Chinalia or something. Austrina. Something like that. Anyway, FedNow is the thing that's going to be coming on the news in a few months. The FedNow is basically, they're trying to make it look really cute. Sort of like UPS, Amazon, 7-Eleven, whatever. They're trying to make it look like it's this perfectly benign, sweet, wholesome Uncle Sam thing over here. The Federal Reserve is going to take care of you now, 24/7, 365. And FedNow is a CBDC program, Central Bank Digital Currency. It's basically your dollars, your American paper dollars, your American coins that will no longer be in circulation. Everything's going to go through FedNow. Every single transaction will be monitored and observed through the Fed. Okay? Everything. To me, that's absolutely terrifying. That is tyranny. This equals tyranny. Okay? I think of it as financial tyranny. Okay? This is basically thuggery. Theft of your privacy. There will be no privacy. If you, the people, allow this to take control of your life, you are living under financial tyranny. You are basically living as if you're in China. The next thing that they'll try to do is UBI, Universal Basic Income. That's where they'll just give everybody like $1,200 a month so that you won't starve. And that turns you into a pet of the CBDC, okay? Already the Federal Reserve owns America. It owns the debt farm of America, and the federal government works for the Federal Reserve, so they're trying to take it to the next level, which is basically turning it into China, okay? So there are some people out there, myself included, I'm interested in this thing that I call honest money. Okay, so that the bigger and uglier this tyranny becomes, the more and more interested I'm involved in with honest money. The stock market is fake right now. It's great if you know how to work it and you're really courageous and you know how to stay in running that market up to the point where it crashes. Great. I wish you all the best. But there's a lot of people, huge, big names that operate in the stock market. They're starting to pull away and they're starting to move towards honest money. Things like gold, Bitcoin, silver, land, owning the mortgage on your house, things like that. Honest money, assets that have real value. I seriously invite everybody to consider this concept. Start learning and studying about these things. The difference between honest money and fake money. All of this money here is fake. It's fake, it's printed, it comes out of nowhere, it's just debt. They're creating more and more debt. It's destroying more and more people's lives. So which side do you want to be on? Do you want to live under tyranny or do you want to live under honesty? It's your choice. I know where I'm going. I'm going to come back to this one in a minute here, okay? I hope I remember. Here's a list of the countries that I can think of with just blinking my eye that are terrified of what's happening on a global scale right now because of America, okay, and China. Each of these countries has a central bank, just like we have a central bank called the Federal Reserve. They have the Central Bank of Estonia, Central Bank of Lebanon, Turkey, Argentina. They all have central banks. And all of these countries have effectively been weaponized, basically attacked by the weaponization of the American dollar. So these countries, as much as they love America, they also hate America because they don't know how to... These countries have long histories of corruption in their politics that makes it very, very difficult for them to operate as a healthy economy. So these countries, okay, Venezuela, Estonia, Lebanon, Turkey, Argentina, a lot of Africa and Zimbabwe, many other places are in deep, deep doo-doo with their currencies, which is triggering a lot of poverty. Okay, in those places. Extreme poverty, devastating poverty. We don't see it over here because most of us live like, you know, we see our cars, our houses, our internet, our YouTubes, our smartphones. We see grocery stores. We seem to have a life. Imagine trying to buy a loaf of bread in Zimbabwe right now. You'd probably have to sell all your jewelry just to get one loaf, okay? Anyway, here... there's a bit of a difference. There's a bit of a line here. The Federal Reserve of the USA, the People's Bank of China, the European Central Bank, they are already fully aware of what's going on and they don't know what to do because everybody in here is doing the same thing as the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is what's considered the gold standard. The American dollar is the only thing that's the nearest thing to a gold standard. And sadly, that's a tragedy because we have debased the dollar to infinity, where the dollar is going to be continued to debase because that's the only tool that we have in America right now to keep ourselves ahead of China and Europe, okay? What we do is we weaponize the dollar by continuing to deflate the value of the dollar. We weaponize the dollar against every other country on earth. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. They're sick of it. China's sick of it. Europe is sick of it. All these countries are sick of it. So guess what? They're trying to find another way out of it. So what are they doing? They're trying to go to honest money. Venezuela in particular, Venezuela is so messed up. They are already switching almost everything to Bitcoin. I'm not kidding. I can't make up this stuff. I think there's another country over here. It might be Moldova. I'm not sure which country it is. But they've already switched their whole country to Bitcoin. All of these countries here are starting to use Bitcoin because it's the only way they can get some kind of stability for their money. And the more and more people use Bitcoin, the more and more people are going to use Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still, almost nothing in terms of the world economy, in terms of its value, but it is there. It's getting bigger, and it's the nearest thing that counters fake money. This is fake money, fake money, fake money. Bitcoin and gold and silver, that's real money, okay? Because these appreciate in value as these depreciate in value. This goes down, this goes up. It's a war. This is happening. This is a war right now because all of these people here, they want to maintain their power using their existing systems, okay? The thing is that business model is collapsing. So it's a race to the bottom right now. China is trying to outprint America. America is trying to outprint China. ECB is trying to outprint. Italy is actually experimenting with its own CBDC that's similar to this. So eventually, what's going to happen right now, I think people are going to realize, my God, we are at war. Okay, there is physical warfare brewing up here with China. America and China, I don't know if you've noticed it, but China is becoming extremely thuggish and aggressive right now. And the more resistance it feels from the outside world, the more aggressive and thuggish it becomes, okay? The only people who can really stand up to China is America. So what's happening is a lot of people who might be pissed off with America for all these currency wars are starting to think, you know what? We don't really have a choice right now. We're either going to have to side up with China or side up with America, because that's what's happening. The whole world is basically splintering into these two factions, communists versus free market capitalism, okay? This is they're trying to turn this into communism, but anyway. So Australia, as you know, is heavily aligned with China. Huge chunks of their economy are already linked to China. Like if they break their relationship with China, their economy is going to crash. Same thing with New Zealand. Same thing with a lot of these places here and here. Same thing with a lot of these places here, a lot of these places here. We've talked about that on other shows. So there's this really, really uncomfortable warfare that's going on right now. Like, which side do you want to be on? This side or this side? So it's kind of happening. China is actually at war with India right now. Physical war. They're killing people, okay? China is at war in the South China Sea, attacking anyone and anything that comes close to them. Literally attacking. That's Mars in Aries in the 7th house, okay? Okay, look at it this way. I'll just make a little bit of a... Excuse me, I smashed my stage. Bear with me. So let me just turn this into a very elementary chart for China. Okay? China is born with the sun in Libra. Okay? According to the CCP birthday. Because the CCP is effectively China, even though the Chinese people don't really like the CCP. So you don't have a choice. So anyway, pretend this is a solar chart for China. They have Mars transiting the 7th house, and it's going to be there for months and months to come, okay? So there's a lot of violence coming out of China right now against the rest of the world, against itself, okay? Eventually, Mars is going to move into Taurus over here. That's going to change everything, but that's another video. So, as you can see, what's happening, what's starting to happen is we're starting to see, okay, let's look at this way, okay? Flashback to January 2020. Boom! The China virus bomb is dropped. Boom! It isn't just a bomb over here or here or here. It isn't just Nagasaki and Hiroshima from World War II, okay? Nuclear bomb, nuclear bomb. This is a viral bomb that went across the whole world. Kerboom! Okay? Pluto was in Capricorn about 22 degrees. 24 degrees, something like that. Just as I predicted in my book, January 2020. And that's when the bomb dropped. Global financial catastrophe. So now, 9 months later, we're still living in the shockwaves from this massive bomb. the place that was most badly affected is the United States. I truly believe this virus is not just a spontaneous thing. I truly believe that this virus was incubated here and released as if it's a bomb. Basically, the whole world kind of went like this. Okay, and now the aftershocks are kind of slowing down, and the world is starting to look at itself, and they're realizing, my God, the world has changed forever. Humanity's behavior has changed forever. We're going to have to change forever. And I feel like a lot of you, to me it's like zombie land. Okay, to me it feels like this. It feels like, I mean, because I've been in a lot of, like I would say, really ugly situations, very violent situations. I didn't ask for them. I had a lot of violence perpetrated upon me, especially, I would say, well, I don't want to go into it. But anyway, I know what it's like to be assaulted, raped, abused, financially, physically, all of that. And I'm still alive. I think deep inside of me, I have a very strong willpower to stay alive. Otherwise, I would have been dead many times over, long ago. So anyway, maybe that makes me feel like maybe I have a reason for being alive today. Maybe that's why I'm supposed to be here, so I can share my perspectives. I'm coming from a very, very broad perspective, and I'm trying to funnel it down, like from the 10th house to the 3rd house, from the Sagittarius energy down to the Gemini energy. So in other words, broad perspectives coming down to something that is communicable, like on a YouTube channel, which is what we do here. So, okay, give me a second. I got stuck. I have to double check something. Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. So what's happened, the way I feel it, okay, the bomb went off, and it's affected everywhere on Earth. Pretty much everywhere on Earth is contaminated somewhere by this China virus, okay? It's all over here. It's all over here, okay, in some way, shape, or other. Some places are barely affected at all. New Zealand right now, they had about almost 2,000 cases and 22 dead, which is really nothing out of 5 million people. America was proportionally hit much more badly because we responded very differently. For example, New Zealand realized what was going on pretty early on, and they decided, you know what, screw it, we're just going to shut down. So they shut down all the airports, planes coming in, planes going out, nothing. And it's still shut down. In the United States, we just kind of walked around like a bomb hit us. Everyone's screaming and yelling and going berserk. Blame it on China, blame it on Russia, blame it on Americans, doesn't matter, okay? So my perspective right now is we're in the very, very early stages of the global restructuring, okay? The bomb dropped here, the trigger, January 2020. The shock waves, the initial shock waves have kind of like diminished, and now we are in the aftermath of the dropping of a bomb. It's just like looking at an old-fashioned war movie or something where they show you pictures of bombs and they show you pictures of all the, the people running around, terror, fires, flames, smoke, panic, death, trauma everywhere. And eventually things calm down and everybody starts looking at each other like, are you still alive? Are you okay? Can I help you? What are you doing? And then the same thing that happens in these warlike situations. There's zombies and looters and thugs that take advantage of the chaos and they turn it to anarchy. They want anarchy. America is flooded with anarchists right now. I don't know if you've seen it, but pretty much there's a ton of big cities all over this country that have been basically taken over by anarchists, okay? They're loving it. They love this stuff. This is their dream come true scenario. The bomb is dropped. Now we can just go riot and loot. We can blame everything on the virus. And then who was it? Kamala Harris said, I think it was Love Triber. I think you told me, dear Love Triber. Kamala Harris, who's the vice president wannabe over with Joe Biden, she said, the first thing I'm going to do when I get into office with Joe, I'm going to grant pardons to all the rioters and protesters who are out there trying to protect our country and claim their rights. Sorry, I don't buy that BS. She's a communist. Okay? So anyway, so right now, okay, there are some people you can take all this storyline to the next level, where all of this, the whole thing is staged. Okay, for example, the Federal Reserve benefits from war, so it gives the Federal Reserve over here a tremendous opportunity to push its agenda forward. Its agenda is to increase command and control of the debt farm, to take it away from the Declaration of Independence, take it away from the Constitution that we have. They're trying to destroy the Constitution from within, so that we, the people of America, succumb to the overlords at the Federal Reserve and the federal government, and we basically allow the U.S. Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, we allow it to rot, to decay to the point where it has no power anymore. And then the Federal Reserve and the federal government take over, and they turn the United States into China. And that is ChinAmerica. Okay? That's what they're trying to do right now. That is what they are trying to do. So what side do you want to be on? Do you want freedom of speech? Do you want freedom of press? Do you want the right to feed yourself the way you think is fit for you? Do you want the rights to privacy? Do you want the rights to rule of law? Do you want the rights to protect and defend yourself against people who want to take you down? Do you want a right to bear arms if necessary to do that? Do you want to keep your rights to unelect or take down the government if they have shown themselves to be tyrannical? I do. I want all that stuff. I want that stuff. These folks here need to be taught a lesson. They're not going to go down unless they're taken down, okay? I'm not acting as a revolutionary. I'm just stating facts. The Federal Reserve and the federal government over here, they're going to keep doing what they're doing as long as they can, as much as they can, so long as we, the people, allow them to do so. You get it? The Constitution states really clearly that it doesn't work unless you have some kind of heart-centered moral compass where you accept and allow that there is universal truth, universal laws that supersede man-made truth, man-made laws. Over here right now, these folks over here and these folks over here are trying to convince the rest of the world that they know what's best for you. They write the laws. It's command and control. It's tyranny. It's just complete tyrannical dictatorship. Because it works for them. It works for the leaders. It works for the leaders over here. That's what they want. That's what they're trying to do. And they're going to keep doing it unless we the people say enough is enough. Now, inside of America, this is a very Cancerian country, okay? We like peace. We like home. We like family. We like to consume. We like to cuddle up. We like to be happy. We like to have our barbecues. We like to have our friends and family. We like to travel. All these amazing things that we have and enjoy here in America. I don't want to lose that. All of that is in jeopardy right now. Before you know it, you're going to have the social justice police and the health and welfare police coming knocking on your door saying, "Excuse me, you're having a barbecue? Get out of the way. We're coming in to inspect if you're wearing a mask." Who are these people? Are these your friends and your family? Who gave you permission to invite those people to your house? We're going to arrest you. That's what they're trying to do in America right now. They're already trying to do it in Australia. They already do it in China. Are you willing to put up with that BS? I'm not. I'm sick of it. I was already aware of this stuff since I was a little kid, but now it's happening in real life. The United States is going through a convulsive moment in history. This is the beginning of the very early stages of the Pluto return. The very last stages of the Pluto return. Right now, okay, let me go to the charts a minute. Actually, I wonder if I can do this. That's probably another video. I haven't prepared that, but I do have charts about America. Let me put it like this, okay? I'll just reference it quickly over here. Okay, if you look at the chart of America, it's got, well, let's put it as a solar chart, okay? Capricorn in the 7th house. America was born with Pluto and Capricorn at 27 degrees. And it has about 4 planets in Cancer all across from 0 to 30 degrees. And we're right in it right now. So this pertains very, very heavily to the United States. We are at war with ourselves, okay? This is internal violence. Violence internally inside America. Americans against Americans, okay? That's what's happening. Citizens against cops. Things like that. It's happening in America right now. So today, Pluto is at roughly, what is it? I think it's what, 24 degrees? Okay? That's roughly where we are today. And in a few years, it's going to reach 0 degrees, 30 degrees on the cusp of Aquarius. Okay? That's over here. That's about 4 years from now. Okay? This is about a 4-year journey from where we are today to the 0 degree cusp of Pluto and Aquarius. And guess what? Just about over here is 27 degrees Pluto. Okay? That's going to be roughly where Saturn is sitting right now. Okay? So we've got a few years to go before Pluto goes from 24 degrees Capricorn to 27 degrees Capricorn. And I guarantee around the time of Pluto in Capricorn, 27 degrees, this will be a moment of critical mass for the United States. Okay? And it's going to affect the whole world. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm putting it on the clock right now. Just like years ago when I wrote this little book. I pinpointed very accurately January 2020 was the pivot point. We've already crossed the pivot point. We're heading to the next pivot point. We've got multiple pivot points before we get to 27 degrees Capricorn. It's going to be a tumultuous time over these next 3 or 4 years, okay? Especially as Pluto ticks its clock very, very slowly towards Capricorn 27 degrees, coming from Capricorn 24 degrees. The pressure is going to increase. Inside America, the economy is going to become more and more and more crushed. And there's going to be opposition and resistance. And there's going to be, I would say, a revealing for the healing. Okay? Neptune will still be in Pisces. So, some of the other closer planets, they're going to trigger lots of things. You know, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars. All of those planets are going to trigger multiple trigger points in this journey until we get till 2024. So think of my messages here as a very long-term extended message to understand none of the problems that we're experiencing right now are going to be fixed now. There's not even the slightest chance. What's happening now is the revealing for the healing. America is being revealed for how completely corrupted and corroded and debased and debauched and degenerated we the people have allowed it to become. We the people have allowed this to happen because we trusted and believed the people over here. We bought it. We were suckered into their mantra, which is, vote for me and I will save you. Watch this. Clickety click. So that's what they do. That's the basic bumper sticker for their game. Vote for me and I will save you. Okay? That's what they do. That's how they do it. And they're still doing it. Okay? And they're going to keep doing it because we have the right to do that. We have the right to vote, which gives us, the people, the chance to compare one with another. I know where I stand. I don't like what they're doing. And there are enough people in America now who think they're sort of wandering around. If you think of America as like full of zombies walking around in a zombie movie, and there's some folks in America who are thinking like, this is wrong. This is something really trippy, weird, wrong. And then there's other Americans who are thinking, this is amazing. This is our chance to take over and to command and control over the whole country now. We can do it with the government and the Federal Reserve. Vote for me and I will save you. Vote for Fed now. Vote for UBI and you will be saved. That's what's coming, people. Okay? I'm just letting you know. The other side of it is other people going like, wait a minute, this is BS. This is BS. This is not America. This is not Americans. That's ChinAmerica that they're talking about. I'm not interested in ChinAmerica. I'm interested in America, okay? The Constitution and the Declaration of Independence were landmark events in human history. Nothing like that had ever been created before in a documented form for any population of humanity. So 250 years ago, that was life-changing for humanity. And I don't know if you've noticed it, but since the birth of America about 250 years ago, the whole of planet Earth has basically expanded in terms of opportunity. Okay? The shadow side is that it hasn't worked for some people who don't like things to work that way. They don't like free market capitalism. They like totalitarian thuggery. They like totalitarian dictatorships, command and control. Basically, CCP, USSR, all those people. Yeah. So, anyway, let me go on to a couple of other things there. I just sort of shared my story for the day. Okay, I don't know if you've heard of MGM. It's basically a big entertainment conglomerate. They just let go of 18,000 people. Did you see that on the news anywhere? Okay, there's United Airlines. They just let go of 16,000 people. Did you see that on the news anywhere? Next, there were massive protests, hundreds of thousands of people collecting in major cities all over Western Europe. Peaceful protests, happy people, singing, dancing, marching, enjoying, being in the masses without masks. They were not wearing masks. They were protesting their government behavior. They're protesting the attempts at totalitarian dictatorship from their governments. Okay, you have to remember that Western Europe is already very much more socialized than we are over here. I have a lot of praise for socialism in some extent because there are certain things that they do which I think would work very well inside a free market capitalist system. But it's very hard to make that happen because, well, they do it to some degree over here, but there are trade-offs. So I have some sympathy with these people here. And so did you see that in the news? Basically, Facebook blocked all of this. These were huge news events across Europe. They were filmed, okay? And they were loaded up onto Facebook. And within 2.5 days, these videos were shut down, okay? You can talk to Love Triber about that. Hello, Diana Lynn. I see you. And the other one over here, Facebook, I think it was yesterday or the day before, Facebook announced new terms of agreement, their new TOS, terms of service, their new, basically the new rules. And the new rules are very broad and sweeping. It's basically, we're now going to do whatever we want. We're going to operate with full censorship and full propaganda. Basically, we are now going to give ourselves permission here at Facebook to stop and block anything that we don't like. Okay? So, if they don't like it, they're just going to stop it. You can't protest or argue against it. They just stop it and they claim the right to do that because they can. You should be very concerned, Diana Lynn, as a citizen. You should be extremely concerned. This is the early stages of ChinAmerica, okay? This is what the early stages of ChinAmerica looks like. Google already does this, okay? They do complete command and control censorship of content unless you go through a lot of filtering. My channel has already gone through a lot of filtering, and I have settings that are arranged so that I give myself permission to provide opinions and perspectives on global perspectives, but I'm not claiming them as facts. I'm just offering perspective. And I have a right to do that under the Constitution in terms of freedom of speech. Facebook might not like it, Google and YouTube might not like it, but I have the right to do that. So for today, at least, my channel is still alive, okay? That's it, folks. That's all I wanted to say. Okay, I'm going to listen in, see if anyone's got any comments, any questions. But if I can't answer them, I will just censor you. If I can't answer them, I will. If I can't, I will say I can't answer it. Okay, anyway. Let's have a look. By the way, I have a donation. What? Hold on, let me just check. Oh yeah, hey Nikki, thank you. Sorry, it must have passed me by. It's a big yellow bumper sticker. I should have seen that. Anyway, yeah, I want to thank you all for listening. And oh, I did not see that, Stargirl. I did not see the speech, okay? There's a lot of tumultuous stuff that's happening, okay? Please allow. Okay, please remember, from the very, very, very large perspective, we're at the early stages, the very early stages of global restructuring. The next 4 years are going to be tumultuous, okay? Across Earth, especially in America. America is going to go through massive convulsions, the same kind of convulsions I had from my heat stroke, when I felt like I was going to vomit and poop with diarrhea and scream and yell, and my body was going to explode from too much heat, like having hot flashes and cold sweats and feeling very faint and very, very weak. I think America is going to be feeling like that for the next few years, okay? And I believe that there will be a massive event, especially around 27 degrees Capricorn, which is in a few years from now. My guess is that it's going to be something to do with the stock market. For example, the way the Federal Reserve is operating right now, it's almost impossible to stop them. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if stock market prices just keep going up and up and up and up and up. You know, a few bumps along the way. And all the people who want honest money are going to be saying, any minute now it's going to pop. Any minute now it's going to pop. There's a lot of people who want honest money. There's a lot of really smart people, a lot of really smart rich people who want honest money. On the other hand, because of what the Federal Reserve is doing right now, it's almost like if you know how to run the markets, you would be an idiot not to run the markets, so long as you have the nerve and the ability to spot the moment when it's all going to crash, and then you get out. If you have not seen the movie Margin Call, I would advise you, recommend you watch a movie called Margin Call. It's a story about what happened in America in Wall Street in 2008, okay? What happened in Wall Street and Bank of America and all of those Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers, what happened there in 2008 was a tiny fraction of the SHIT that's going to be hitting, okay? But it's basically a model about what happens when things implode. So if you want to see a story about what happens when the markets implode, just go watch the movie Margin Call. There's another movie that deals with the same storyline. These are all based on true life. These are basically true stories told as movies. Then there's another movie called The Big Short. Okay? Highly recommend those if you've got a few hours to spare and you want to get a glimpse of what lies ahead. Okay? Because it's going to be much bigger and much worse coming up than it ever was in 2008. So if you are rich enough and smart enough, you know how to play these markets, freaking go for it. Otherwise, I highly recommend protect your money, protect your privacy, protect yourself. Do whatever you have to do, okay? Because the Fed now and the federal government are going to do everything they can to take that away from you. Your privacy, your wealth, yourself, okay? All of that is in jeopardy. Okay. I've said what I'm going to say. More stuff's going to happen. More crazy things are going to happen. Thank you all for being here. I'm just going to leave it up running for a minute. If you guys are still chatting, you know, I'll leave it up for a few minutes. If you want to chat amongst yourselves, introduce yourselves to each other, make friends. Digital Buddy Network, DBN, Digital Buddy Network. That's what we have here. Hello, Ivona. Stargirl is still here. Hi, Nikki. I missed the Berlin speech. I didn't see that. Oh. YouTube won't let me post the video URL here. Yeah, that's the thing now. They're doing all sorts of blocks and stuff because they don't want information to be shared if they believe it's controversial or against their agenda. Okay? Okay. Oh, no, I didn't. I spoke a little bit about the food shortage. I didn't speak about the shortage. I spoke about the disruptions. Earlier on in today's show, I spoke about the disruptions, like the big food trains coming from China that somehow mysteriously exploded and fell over sideways and tipped all their contents. I spoke about the sugar silos over in the southeast over here that seemed to just spontaneously explode and ruin the sugar supplies for all those manufacturers. I mentioned things about the food supplies from our agriculture, our farmers, where the supplies are being destroyed because they can't be harvested or picked, because the farm workers are walking away, because the government is walking in and telling them, you need to be tested. You have to be tested in order to be a farm worker to work on this farm. And the farmer owner is kind of powerless, okay? That basically is, okay. And so the government people come in, and then the farm workers go, you know what? Screw you. We don't have to be tested. We don't want to be tested. There is no law. Okay? So we're leaving. Goodbye. And they have networks. They can go all over the country and work in other states, other towns that do not have virus-enforced testing. And so a farm gets devastated and all their fruits and grains just go to rot because they can't be harvested. So that's the things that I did talk about earlier. Okay, Stargirl, I mentioned that earlier. But I didn't mention food shortages, which a lot of people are starting to feel it's all staged. Food shortages, deliberate disruptions in the food chain, the food suppliers. As you know, a lot of the meat supplies in America, beef and poultry, beef, pigs, chickens, turkeys, all of that stuff is being heavily disrupted because the same thing that they're trying to do with agriculture, they're trying to do with meat supplies. Basically, they're forcing meat makers to shut down because you can't run a factory if there's somebody inside there who is infected. And a lot of people aren't infected. There's so much bogus information about this China virus. I don't know who told me. I think it was Love Triber. They're now admitting from the CDC that actually only 6% of people infected by the China virus actually died. So, and the actual deaths were recorded as viral deaths, even though they were deaths from other causes. So there's a lot of misinformation going on. I don't know who to believe. I don't know what's true. I don't really care. I just like to stay in my lane, mind my own business. The grocery stores where I go to right now are very strange. You can't get coins. You can't get change inside your local grocery stores here. You have to pay with exact, if you're paying with paper money and coins, you have to pay exactly, because otherwise they won't give you the change. So you lose out, or they round it down, or whatever. Other things like, in the early days in January, there was like the toilet paper and paper towel shortages. There's all sorts of shortages going on. My personal opinion is that we still have vast amounts of food supply here in the country, but there is a very evil agenda that is trying to disrupt the food supply according to those 8 steps to communism that I talked about early in the video. Try to disrupt the food supply so you make the population dependent on the government, okay? So you cripple the people, you disempower the people so that the government can take control. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, did I mention this one? The more and more people want honest money, the more and more they're going to turn to things like saving, gold, silver, purchasing assets that retain value, finding ways to get out of debt, reducing your mortgage, downsizing your life, getting rid of getting rid of credit cards, college debt, mortgages, anywhere to downsize and get off the debt farm. People are starting to understand that debt is crippling this country. Debt is crippling you, the people. So they're trying to figure that out. Yes, Stargirl, fear-mongering is very, very big right now. So it's very, very scary in some ways for Americans, but it isn't anywhere near as bad in America as it has to be for ChinAmerica to actually happen. For the federal government and the Federal Reserve to enact and succeed in their agenda, things have to become much worse in America, okay? Before the comfortable people of America will actually rise up and say, enough is enough is enough. We're starting to see glimpses of it right now. We're starting to see people who would normally never come out and express anger against the system because it's too comfortable. We're too comfortable here in America. But if, as or when things become less and less comfortable, there will be an increased pressure for we the people to say enough is enough. So we're sort of heading that way right now, but it's still the early stages. A lot of stuff is fermenting in America right now, especially with money and currencies and the crippling effects that come from the Federal Reserve and the debasement of our dollar. All of those things are starting to kind of trickle into the mass media. The mass media does not want you to look into any of this stuff. They're not going to post anything like this on the mass media, okay? Not even Fox News, not even Bloomberg, not even Forbes magazine, not even the Wall Street Journal. None of them. ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, CNBC, Fox Business, none of them are going to report stuff like we're doing. If you want to get educated, if you want to find out what's really going on, you have to do your own homework. You're going to have to actually dig, because if you smell something that's phony, okay, there's a reason there's a bad smell. There's a lot of bad things happening right now, and we're lucky we still have a Constitution, we still have the Declaration of Independence, but we are at risk of losing that or having it compromised even more than it is already. It can get a lot worse over here in America. As bad as things are today, it has the potential to get a lot worse. I see increasing pressure from the agenda, from the globalists, from the ChinAmerica people to keep pushing their agenda. Okay? The more that they push their agenda, the more uncomfortable it becomes for the people, we the people who do not like that agenda. And eventually there has to come a meeting where enough is enough. Okay? We're not there yet. People are just talking about it. They're ranting it. They're starting to smell it. They're starting to feel it. But we're not there yet. We're heading in this direction. My feeling is that direction is going to become exposed over the next 4 years before Pluto goes into Sagittarius, before Pluto goes into Aquarius. It's going to be very different when Pluto goes into Aquarius. There's going to be a lot more revolutionary activity going on. especially for we the people, and for the democratization of global money and currencies and opportunity. But that's another video. Oh, here's the other thing I was going to say. Sorry, this is the last thing, all right? I dropped into a 7-Eleven convenience store the other day, and I was thinking about these things. I was talking about these things. And, you know, there's these big plastic screens. You can't go up to the cash register. You go and buy something. You have to give exact change, sir. So I was okay. I was just buying a little something, clickety-click. And I turned to my side over here, and I saw, you know how you see these ATM machines, automatic teller machines for cash in convenience stores. Well, here's something that I've never seen before, but I saw it a few days ago. You know what they look like? There's like a tall, skinny box, and you walk up in front of it, you stick your credit card, debit card thingy in there, and it spews out a bit of paper cash. Okay? Guess what I saw? Parked right next to a regular old-fashioned ATM machine was a Bitcoin machine. It does exactly the same thing, but it's for people who live their whole lives through Bitcoin. Okay? So I'll leave you with that thought. Okay? You're welcome to get in touch with me at terraillumination.com. Check out the connection page, and we can meet, talk. I give private consultations and all that kind of stuff. Oh yes, thank you. Yeah. Saturn is going to go in Aquarius soon. Jupiter is going to go into Aquarius very soon. That's going to create a lot of upheaval. And those are the precursors for the big upheaval when Pluto goes into Aquarius around 2024. But before all of that happens, we have to live through 27 degrees Capricorn. So I'm just letting you know here, because you're not going to hear it from anywhere else. You might as well stay tuned. Okay? There you go. It's been lovely, people. I'm going to check out now. It's been lovely. Thank you for listening. Thank you for allowing me to rant. Thank you for your donation. All donations gratefully accepted. We'll do that another time. Okay, here we go. Cheerio, people.